Now, I'd like to preface this video with a warning, not a trigger warning, just this. I do not know who is telling the truth in this story. I don't know if it's the alleged victim or the alleged perpetrator. All I can say is this is my opinion on the story. This is going to be some speculation on the facts. And without further ado, let's get on with the show, shall we? Hello everybody, it's your boy. And guess what? A new story has come out about alleged rape occurring during this whole hashtag #MeToo, also following on from the Harvey Weinstein thing. And a former model accuses David Blaine of rape, says the Daily Beast. Now we're going to go through this article. We're going to talk about this article. And I'm going to explain to you why I think I smell a whiff of bullshit. Now again, for those of you who are going to click the dislike button straight away, I don't know if this genuinely happened or not. Could well have happened. This rape could well have occurred if a rape had occurred at all. But similarly, there could be a lie. But let's just get on with it, shall we? Scotland Yard is investigating magician David Blaine after a model accused him of raping her in London. Police have asked Blaine to come to Britain to be interviewed, according to emails reviewed by the Daily Beast. Natasha Prince claims Blaine raped her at a private home in London's Chelsea neighbourhood in the summer of 2004, months after her 21st birthday. She told the Daily Beast in her first ever interview on the subject. Officers from the Met's Child Abuse and Sexual Offences Command are investigating an allegation of rape, Scotland Yard said in a statement to the Daily Beast. The allegation was reported to police on 17th November 2016 by a woman who alleged she was raped at an address in Chelsea in June or July 2004 when she was aged 21. There have been no arrests at this stage and inquiries continue. So why has it taken almost a year? This was one day before my 23rd birthday. Why has it taken so long for this to happen? And why are they investigating something that happened, 13 years ago when I was 11? But this is the thing. An allegation against a man is taken very seriously. No matter how long ago it happened, no matter how much evidence there is or is not, it's taken very seriously. He is investigated. And whether or not he's guilty or innocent, it doesn't really matter because his reputation will be ruined. David Blaine doesn't come out of this, no matter what will happen in the future, looking good. It will always look bad in the eyes of the public. But why is it a breaking news story now? Why is this such a big story and exclusive when it was almost a year ago? Again, a day before my 23rd birthday. Police last month emailed Prince that they had requested Blaine, through his attorney, come to the UK for an interview under caution, where he would be provided with the particulars of the allegation. Blaine's attorney, Marty Singer, denied all allegations to the Daily Beast in a statement. My client vehemently denies that he raped or sexually assaulted any woman, ever, and he especially denies raping a woman in 2004, the statement said. This would include Natasha Prince, Singer said in an additional statement. If in fact there is any police investigation, my client will fully cooperate because he has nothing to hide. In the year since Prince contacted police last October, allegations of sexual abuse and harassment have roiled almost every industry. Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly of Fox News were dismissed after they were discovered to have paid off accusers. Donald Trump's presidential campaign was wounded by his boasting of sexual assault on tape and multiple women. Okay, look, he never boasted of sexual assault or anything like that. It was locker room banter, and he was talking about consensual acts. They let him do it. They gave him permission to do it. That was consensual. As for the other two, I never followed that story close, so whatever. What can I do? And Hollywood's king, Harvey Weinstein, was dethroned after allegations were unearthed that he preyed on women in the industry. Still ongoing, and to be honest, making a video on that is going to be incredibly difficult because of all the people that are now surfacing and trying to sieve out who is and who is not a true victim is going to be difficult because there will be people latching onto that for attention. It's just what happens, sadly. I met Prince at a near-empty fast food restaurant near the Beverly Hills Hotel where she was staying. A decade removed from the modelling world, today she works as an art dealer in Manhattan. Prince was born in England to a middle-class family of a Liverpool businessman. Liverpool. Ugh. Just kidding. And entered the modelling world briefly at 15 before working full-time at 18 when she was with Storm in London and then next in London, Paris and New York. Before she quit abruptly at 24, Prince graced roughly 25 magazine covers, including German Vogue, French Elle, an Italian glamour, and was featured prominently in campaigns for Louis Vuitton, Levi's, and Diesel jeans. During the same period, Blaine was taking over the world of magic. His feat in late 2003, titled Above the Below, where he suspended himself in a glass box 30 feet above the River Thames for 44 days, apparently surviving on nothing but water, had made him a huge star in London, where Prince booked to shoot in July 2004. It technically made him a star in the world. Also, interestingly, he's no longer that big star that he used to be. That has long since been taken by other people, like a British magician who's really good. I think he's a better illusionist than David Blaine, called Dynamo from Yorkshire. He's pretty damn good. You should check him out. Very humble guy as well. So I don't understand why this is such a big exclusive. It's David Blaine. The guy hasn't really been relevant since, well, I guess this. Although he does get regular TV shows, so I guess he's got good work. Blaine was still a member in good standing of Leonardo DiCaprio's so-called Pussy Posse, later rechristened the Wolf Pack, and has been linked with Fiona Apple, Bijou Phillips, Madonna, Daryl Hannah, and a host of international models. Is that linked romantically? As friends? I don't know. I'm going to assume they mean romantically. And so what? He was part of a group of lads. Are they trying to paint this guy as, oh, he must clearly be a racist because he hung out with lads? Prince said she first met Blaine at the Wellington, a posh nightclub in Knightsbridge, where he was at a private table with about 10 other people in June or July 2004. He was nice to me, she said. I'm not sure what was said, but I remember he was giving me a lot of attention. I'm thinking, he's famous. There are beautiful girls all around him. I didn't have any intentions. I just love meeting people. I'm good with people. As I was working the next day when he went to talk to somebody else, I said, well, I'm going to go now. Really nice to meet you. And I left. The next day after work, Prince said she received a text from Blaine inviting her over to his friend's place for drinks. When she demurred, given the time of her early call the next morning, he offered to send a car. I thought, okay, he must really like me, said Prince. It wasn't too far a drive. It was in Chelsea. We pulled up to this mansion. There were electronic gates and it really intimidated me. It was like an embassy with 20 or 30 rooms, and I took an elevator up to the 3rd or 4th floor. This sounds like a girl who's interested. I'm just saying. And towards the end of the article, we'll see some interesting facts about her at this time. But there's nothing to stop her from saying no. I don't even think he's really forcing her. It's more like the usual, you got work the next day and your mate's like, hey, come on, have a drink. It's just one. And you're like, no, I don't know, come on, just one drink, really? And it turns out to be 5 drinks. It's that kind of asking. It's to call it peer pressures or an overstatement. It's just one of those things like, please, come on. We're just having a load of fun. Come on. That's what it sounds like to me. And she can still say no. In fact, she can say yes and not turn up. Blaine met her at the door and ushered her into a small living room. Prince said there was another couple with cocktails who were standing in the doorway to the terrace wrapped in conversation. At no point during her time there did either of them acknowledge her or seem aware of interactions with Blaine, Prince claims. Maybe they thought nothing was going on. Maybe they did see you guys talking, but were not interested in butting in. I don't know. At one point, Prince said Blaine disappeared into the kitchen and returned with a vodka and soda in a tall crystal glass. I had a high tolerance, but that week I was working and I decided not to drink, Prince said. But I decided to have that one drink that night. It wasn't strong. It tasted mostly like soda. After 20 minutes of superficial conversation, Prince claims Blaine asked to show her something in the adjacent bedroom. I remember carrying my drink because I assumed we were coming back, she said. I guess I thought we might look at a view or something. At this point in our conversation, she burst into tears, and we took a 10-minute break to get some air. Then she continued. I followed him, and we went into the bedroom, and it's dark. I told him right away when he texted me that I was working tomorrow, so I was thinking maybe we would have a sort of intimate conversation somewhere else for 5 or 10 minutes. But he spun around quite quickly and said, kiss me. I did kiss him, and then he said, finish your drink. I took the glass from me and put it on the table, and that's really the last thing I remember. You gave him consent. He asked you to kiss him and you kissed him, and he gave you a vodka that was mostly Coke, and yet you blacked out and you have a high tolerance. I don't buy this for a second, but I guess the implication is that he may have roofied her, but again, you could have walked into the kitchen with him to make sure you weren't going to get roofied, Some people have to take precautions with this shit, Also, don't just blindly accept drinks by people, no matter who they are. You never know what they've done with it. People are taught this. I'm taught this. So, come on. I'm not blaming you for anything, but I'm just saying some things are just not quite right, and a lot of this could have been avoided, really, by just saying no. In fact, when he said finished the drink, he took the glass away, so you didn't actually finish it. The mind boggles. This is kind of inconsistent. At some point, I was on the bed, face forward, and he was behind me. I think it woke me up a little bit because I'd never had that anal sex done to me before. I remember moving around a lot. I was limp and I was very floaty. I was in and out of a deep sleep. When I woke up, I was very relaxed, very stoned. The lights were on and I was naked. He was shirtless at the end of the bed. And when I looked at him, he said, "You have really nice tits." He was just folding clothes, walking around. He didn't kiss me or anything. Sounds like you had drunken sex or consensual sex. But again, how can you be drunk after one drink and you have a high tolerance? Why would a rapist stay with the victim? Like, wouldn't he have wanted to get out of there as fast as possible? Or maybe call you a taxi and try and get you out of there? I mean, there were other people in the building. Like, if it was rape, wouldn't they have maybe heard something? I don't know. But then again, you were apparently intoxicated after one drink and felt stoned after a vodka that was mostly coke. Okay. The following morning, Prince said she did a photo shoot for New Look, the British clothing store, where she thought about the previous night. The next thing I remember, I was sitting in the makeup chair, getting my makeup done, thinking, what did I do last night? Did I have sex with David Blaine? But I didn't want to. I felt hazy, completely out of it. I don't think I remember taking a shower where I changed, leaving his house or anything. A month after the alleged incident, Prince said she accepted an invitation to visit St. Tropez from a club promoter and friend, only to discover that everything was suddenly out of kilter. Now people terrified her. The social intimacy she naturally found with other people had evaporated. She felt outside herself, wobbly on her feet, extremely self-conscious. Drinking was the one thing that helped. Enough at that at one point. She fell off a table, another first. On her first afternoon back in New York, Prince claims Blaine called her. It was a very short conversation, said. I was very freaked out. He seemed to be checking up on me, but he didn't try and make a plan to see me or anything. He sounded very creepy, and it made me feel a bit bullied. She said she would see Blaine 3 additional times. The following year, a friend was invited to a party at Blaine's house, and in the show Bravado, she tagged along. She insisted they leave soon after arriving, but not before Blaine followed her into the bathroom and he told her, "You were really good in bed." So he flirted with you, and you showed up anyway, and you had some kind of short conversation where he seemed to be checking up and didn't try a plan or anything, but he sounded creepy. What did he actually say that was creepy? Are you just saying his tone of voice was creepy? And again, it just seems to me that you're putting yourself in these situations. I don't get it. Why did you go up there to have a show bravado, saber rattling? Who does that? Why would you do that? If I was raped, I would want to stay away from that person as humanely possible. 6 years later, Prince said she ran into Blaine in the Manhattan subway with his girlfriend and daughter, and they exchanged small talk. Days later, Prince claims Blaine appeared out of the art gallery where she worked. He called my name and asked how I was. It was very brief, but he seemed to come out of nowhere, Prince said, feeling embarrassed. Prince then invited him in. You invited him in. You've been talking to him. He's been talking to you. As if nothing happened. Maybe from his point of view, it was consensual. Maybe you have withdrawn consent years later. I don't know. There seems to be some kind of miscommunication going on at the very least. Nothing seems to add up here. Blaine acknowledged meeting Prince in the statement supplied by Singer and claims she approached him. The last time my client saw Miss Prince was approximately 5 years ago on the streets of New York, where Miss Prince approached my client and invited him to see her at the Jagosian Gallery where she works. This conduct is completely inconsistent with any claim that my client engaged in any wrongful conduct approximately 13 years ago with Miss Prince. And I do get vibes of Mattress Girl when she was talking to Nungesser and was wanting to have sex with him more, as if no rape had ever happened, because it never happened. This is not the behaviour of somebody who is a victim of an alleged rape. You don't go and at first saber rattle him and go to these parties with him and then talk to him and text him, no matter how brief or far apart it is. And again, if you did, why don't you go to the police if you felt that way and get a rape kit or something? They did exist in 2004. You do know that, right? You're talking as if you're like acquaintances. You had a one-night stand. And he claims that you were the one who initiated the conversation on the street. And, as corroborated by you, you invited him into the gallery, yet you apparently felt embarrassed. Embarrassed in what way? Embarrassed in a social, awkward kind of way? Or embarrassed that you're inviting somebody who you think raped you in? I'm confused. Nothing's adding up here. For years, Prince said she suffered murky flashbacks of the alleged incident. I remember being flipped around and it all seemed like slow motion, she said. I was racking my brains and retracing all my steps, trying to figure out what happened, which is why I remember so many details. I don't remember any other day of that year. But it's murky. You struggle to remember this, you blacked out, but yet you remember so many details and you don't remember any other day of that year. Something does not add up. But it's so convenient that other details are murky, but others are not. Like the grim details about anal sex and shit. Oh, you remember that. But you don't remember the other things that might make it a rape or not. Prince says she suffered from anxiety and the fear of men. low self-esteem, and bouts of non-specific, free-floating anger whose target always seemed just out of reach. She became self-destructive and stopped eating. I think I tried really hard to block it out, but I carried this awful feeling with me, she said. At age 24, despite a promising career, she stopped modelling. I quit modelling very early, she said. I didn't get to be the 30-year-old model I had hoped to be. I had been building a name for myself, very hard work, travelling, leaving behind school, family, my cosy life. I never learned to drive because I was always travelling. I didn't have a nice high school boyfriend or anything like that, but after this happened, I didn't want to go out and I didn't want to go to my casting. I wouldn't get the job because now I was insecure. 3 years ago, Prince said she got sober and began seeing a therapist. In November, she reported the alleged incident to London police. There is no statute of limitations for sex crimes in Britain. And this is the problem. There is no statute of limitations, so anybody can be accused of a crime years after the fact and potentially go to prison. Which is ridiculous because rape is a very hard crime to prove, because the only way you can actually prove it is through DNA evidence, because most rapes don't happen where there are witnesses. Rapists would not just rape somebody right in front of somebody, would they? That's retarded. There is apparently a very small window where you can actually get the man's DNA or woman's DNA, although, let's be honest, in the British law, men cannot be raped by women unless they are penetrated. Forced envelopment is not considered a crime. But even then, there's a small window of getting whatever DNA there may be that proves that they touched you in that horrible way. But she's missed that opportunity, but she can still report him and still potentially getting convicted, even though there's no real evidence other than her word. How is this in any way a logical way to deal with this kind of crime? I don't know. That same month, Prince contacted her ex-boyfriend, the man she was dating in 2004 at the time of the alleged rape. Is this beginning to maybe paint a different kind of picture? She had a boyfriend at the time, which she didn't mention until right at the end. Makes you wonder, was this a consensual act where she cheated on him with David Blaine, because she did consent to kiss him, and then the next thing she knew she was having sex with him? Of course, the murkiness is there, because we don't know if she consented to sex, though. May feel guilty about this. That's the other side. The other side is that he forced himself upon her, but who knows? The boyfriend told Prince he felt like men were using her as a piece of meat during that summer in 2004, including the man who introduced her to Blaine. What do you mean, using her like a piece of meat? Did he disapprove of her being a model? Well, what does that mean? Was this an open relationship and she was sleeping around? Or does he mean her job? Like, she poses in front of cameras and, does stuff like models do. And even then, it's her job. She's consenting to this, so she's not actually being used like a piece of meat. In a series of direct messages on Instagram, he reminded Prince of that crazy weird situation with David Blaine after we broke up. He made move on you in bed like he forced himself on you. You told me how you ended up in his bed and he was trying on stuff, he continued. When asked why it took 13 years for her to tell police, Prince told the Daily Beast, but I'll just stop you there. He knows that happened, but then again, remember, she's only telling him that it was a rape or a weird situation where he forced himself. But again, he asked her to kiss him, and she did. And after that, next thing we know, they're having sex. There's nothing after that could potentially clear up anything about how one led to the other, but I don't know. You have to understand, my interpretation was that it was my fault. I didn't think of it as rape. In my head, rape was being sober, pull her in the bush, pull down her pants and just ditch her. So I blame myself. I did like him. I was interested in him, so I didn't think about going to the police. Then I was so ashamed and worried about everyone knowing in New York. I was just so scared of being around them. Everyone thinks I'm a slut. I had always protected myself and my reputation. I considered myself a classy girl from a nice British family. I had standards. I wasn't the type to sleep around. Well, I don't know, but you slept around from what you seem to be describing on the one hand, but then on the other hand, there was a forced angle to it. And I don't buy that you just believe that rapes in your head was just being sober and pulling in a bush. And at the same time, every single story is like this. They're always afraid of how other people would perceive them, yet every single time shit like this is in the public, when it's leaked to the public, when people are open about this, they get a shower of support. It's the same script over and over again. Mattress Girl, same thing. Jackie from UVA, same thing. Go back to all the other ones. And recently Tyler Malka, she was another one who wasn't sure about it because he was Tyler Malka, semi-famous. Prince, accompanied by her father, flew to London and met police on December 16th at Kensington Police Station, where she met with investigators and filed a report. Reached on his cell phone by the Daily Beast and asked about the Scotland Yard investigation, Blaine briefly responded, "Wow, there's absolutely nothing, that's crazy." Singer, whose clients have included John Travolta, Bill Cosby and Charlie Sheen, among others, said in the phone call that anyone can make a claim, especially with this Harvey Weinstein thing. Yet Prince spoke to London police almost a full year before the New York Times story exposing multiple allegations of sexual misconduct by Weinstein. Prince said she's going to put public to expose Blaine. I would never wish anyone to go to jail. That's in the hands of the law, she said. I want you to know that I'm not stupid and I know what happened. Yeah, you totally don't want anyone to go to jail, but you're going to try him in the court of public opinion anyway. And the end goal is to get him into jail. Right, okay. And I like how Singer, who's a lawyer, who has a job, has links with Cosby, Travolta and Sheen, as if that's a bad thing. Again, they're trying to plant things into our heads, like, oh, he must be guilty because he's employing Singer, who's the defence attorney for Cosby, even though he might have other clients who aren't famous but are rich. So what do I think about this? What do I think? Well, since reading it again, and looking at the bit in the kitchen, it turns out that she didn't go into the kitchen with him, and he comes out with a drink that she accepted, even though she didn't have to, and apparently it tasted most like soda, so he didn't really give her that much alcohol. And then they go up to the bedroom, and stuff like that happens, and it's all murky. Years later, they keep meeting. I don't get it. And again, like what the defence attorney said, why go public now? I mean, yeah, sure, she filed the complaint last year, but why go public now with the hashtag #MeToo thing and Harvey Weinstein currently blowing up? It is too good to be true anyways, and the timing is just a little bit interesting. Even if it was filed a year ago and she doesn't wish for anyone to go to jail, so like that. I mean, I don't buy this one, but I don't know. I've seen too many stories where that same thing has happened and it turns out to be not true, but we'll find out. But the thing is, what can she do anyway, even if he did do it? The window of opportunity for essentially proving if it was him or not is now gone. Like, she could have proven, like, yeah, he did rape because of DNA evidence with a rape kit, but now she can't. So what did he do? What can she do? And even then, he's going to be tried in the court of public opinion anyway, and as we all know, when a man is tried in the court of public opinion, he's guilty anyway. So if she doesn't get him arrested and tried and put in prison, she'll ruin his career, because she didn't get a career, and potentially maybe there's some guilt going on there. It could have been an act of cheating, or it might not have been, but I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, this is an interesting story. I thought I would cover this, and maybe I'll cover it if more evidence comes out, because as we know, if it's public, there's usually something behind it that is a little bit suspect. So until next time, it's been your boy. I'll see you later.